Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen, the Get Some podcast. And my guest this week is...
This motherfucker Gary.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast. Start off with my schedule. I'm actually off this weekend. Only weekend I got off for the next 6 months, actually. And then December 21st to the 23rd, I'm in Denver, Colorado at the Improv. December 29th, I'm in San Antonio, Texas at the Tobin Center. And as always, I'm ending the year December 30th and 31st in Dallas, Texas at the Texas Trust Theater. It's my seventh year I've done New Year 30th and 31st in Dallas. The only year we didn't do it was COVID, 2020. Didn't do it that year. But this is the seventh. Out of the last 8 years, 7 of them have been in Dallas. And then January 4th through the 6th, I'm in Ontario, California at the Improv. January 13th, I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, the Moran Theater. January 14th, I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida at the Hard Rock. And then I'm coming home January 18th to the 21st to the Cincinnati Funny Bone. And then for the first time ever, January 26th to the 28th, I'm in Irvine, California. And let's just go into February since we're here. February 2nd through the 4th, I'm in Tampa, Florida at the Improv. And what's somewhat become an annual thing, February 8th through the 10th, I'm in Charlotte, Super Bowl weekend again. Now, obviously, there's no show on the 11th. That's a national holiday. That's Super Bowl Sunday. And if somehow my Cincinnati Bengals get in, I'll be there. I'm hoping. I didn't get off the bandwagon. You see it. God, what a game. What a game, man. Just smoked Indianapolis. There was never a doubt. It was never. There was no point in their game. I was like, dang. Even when Colts came back and tied it up, I was like, I wasn't too worried. Wasn't too worried about it. This is the best, not the best. The best time of year is the playoffs. But right now, if your team's in it and playing for something, there's nothing like football this time of year because every game means so much, and there's all these 7-6 teams, and they're all bunched up. And we've been playing good. Like our 7-6 feels a lot better than Pittsburgh's 7-6 right now. So I feel like, how the heck did we find this backup quarterback, Jake Browning? Like, this is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. On another note, since I can talk about the Bengals all day, it's a problem. I actually, when I got here to the podcast studio, opened up my laptop and the last video was still playing. It was somebody talking about the Bengals. And I was like, oh, it reminded me of that video where there's a video where a mom is cleaning her son's dorm room out in college, and she opens up the laptop, and you hear, oh, fuck me. And she closed it real quick. So clearly watching a porn. We was talking about, I was talking to this guy about Shohei Ohtani, the pitcher, and regular field player for the Angels, signed a $700 million deal with the Los Angeles Dodgers for 10 years, and he deferred 97% of it until his playing career is over, which is smart. So he's $68 million. He's wait a minute. He would defer $68 million of his $70 million each year. Yeah, so he's basically like, look, I'm good living off $2 million a year every year. I want to get the 68 once I retired and I'm not playing. And I'm just like, it's so smart. I wish more athletes. That's a little much. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if I'm deferring $68 million. I'd probably do it the other way. I'd probably defer the $2 million per year to after I retire. But he's made so much already. And with endorsements and everything else, I wish more athletes would do that. I was reading the Reds are still paying Ken Griffey Jr. over $3 million a year. because he spread his contract out so much. And the guy's he hasn't played for the Reds in freaking 15 years, maybe longer. And he just spread it out. And he had a lot of his contract deferred to after he retired. So this dude's still getting over $3 million a year from the Reds. And Bobby Bonilla's like still getting paid from the Mets, his ridiculous contract. He gets like $1 million or $2 million. Hold on. Bobby Bonilla, let me see what he gets. It's something stupid. I bet you if I type in his name, it's the first thing that pops up. Bobby Bonilla. Okay. They pay out $1.19 million on July 1st. He's 59 years old. Bobby Bonilla is still getting paid from from the Mets. So he gets every July 1st. It's Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. He gets $1.19 million from the Mets until 2035. So when he did his contract, he basically said July 1st from 2011 to 2035. That's like a divorce. That's like literally like that's his alimony. And he didn't earn it. Like he got the contract, but he didn't play that good with the Mets. He was good with the Pirates, but not the Mets. But it's so smart. He'll be 72 years old when his contract runs out. That's unreal. Let's look at some other ones. Brett Saberhagen, great pitcher back in the day. He'll receive $250,000 a year from the Mets for 25 years. His payments began in 2004. Max Scherzer will receive $105 million from the Nationals that will be paid through 2028. Manny Ramirez will collect $24.2 million total from the Red Sox for 2026. And here it is. Ken Griffey Jr. received $3.59, basically $3.6 million from the Reds every year through 2024 as a deferral from his 9-year, $116 million deal. He signed in 2000. That's so smart. It's crazy. There's so much money in baseball. Todd Helton will get $1.3 million from the Rockies every year through 2023 as a result of a $13 million deferred when he signed a 2-year extension in 2010, which is so smart. Like, if you want to be on a contender and you want to play, be like, yeah, I'll take the money later. So smart, man. I wish more. I don't think football you can do it unless you're signing one of them huge quarterback deals like Burrow or Jalen Hurts. But I think basketball and baseball, those are the sports where their money is guaranteed. And if I'm a financial advisor to a young kid, I'm like, yo, man, just why don't you try to set it up where if you're gonna, I don't know, maybe not your first contract, but your second one, anything that goes into over $100 million, you can live and do whatever you want. I go off a couple million a year. I'll be like, hey, you want to defer this? So when later on in life, it's just so smart to me. I love hearing stories like that. But that's a lot, dude. That's a little much. I ain't gonna lie. That's a lot. I mean, maybe 10 million. I don't know, man. That's a lot of money, boy, to be deferred. Anyway, and it's California. They're taking. He's not gonna get $700 million. I don't know if you realize that. He basically signed a 10-year, $400 million is what he did, which is terrible. Who can live off that? They're not. My thing is, if I sign that much and the IRS is taking that much for taxes and everything, you need to be filling in potholes as I drive down the road. Like, my car should never hit a pothole. If I give you all this tax money, wherever I'm living, I'll give you my address, fix the streets. That's all I'm saying. I want the street lights on. There never better be a street light out. Better not be no potholes on any neighborhood I live in. Things that just lets me know that I'm not wasting my money. All right? So that's what I would like. I was talking to somebody about lattes, which is this the best time of year for coffee and lattes? I mean, it just hits different in the fall. Winter like freezing, but the fall, you got like an option. You want hot or cold. It depends on the type of day, depending on what part of the country you're in. But man, coffee it hits different this time of year. And oftentimes, I like hitting like local coffee spots when I'm on the road. I like to support locally owned businesses. But Starbucks is it's a matter of convenience when you're home. Because if they got a drive-through, you just pew, pew, in and out. It's great. So I don't know. That had nothing to do with anything. But I was just like, I saw it. I want to take a sip, so I'm going to talk about it. So, outside the Bengals and that ridiculous contract that dude signed, this weekend, I'm a huge UFC fan, and this weekend is a great card. So I'm gonna give my predictions, and we're gonna see if how these go. Just from the main event. Let me go to ESPN. Let me get this card. I need to get a fight pass or something. I've dropped quite a bit of money on the UFC on all these fight cards over the years. Let's see. Schedule results. All right. God, Colby Covington and Leon Edwards. Okay, just the main card. Ian Gary versus Vicente Luque. Now, I don't know if you know the story behind this Ian Gary guy, but he has really become the most hated man in UFC for various reasons. But I want him to win because the people don't want to say this. The fighting game's better with bad guys. And we root for the bad guy to lose, but if the bad guy's going to lose, I want him to lose in a championship match. I want to keep this train going because it makes you want to watch. So Vicente Luque, he's cool, but ain't nobody going to be like, oh, I can't believe he retired. There's a void. So I want Ian Gary to win, and I'm picking Ian Gary. Paddy Pimblett versus Tony Ferguson. Again, another guy. This is like the asshole UFC card. And I don't mean these guys are assholes like that. I just mean they're cocky. They talk a lot of shit. And for some reason, they get a lot of hate within the sport. Like Paddy Pimblett's getting a lot of hate. So I'm rooting for him. So I'm picking Ian Gary. I'm picking Paddy Pimblett. And here's the crazy part. The next one is the nicest man in the UFC, Stephen Thompson versus Shavkat Rakhmonov, who's undefeated. He's like a robot. So I'm picking Rakhmonov, but I want Stephen Thompson. Brandon Royval versus Alexandre Pantoja. Oh, picking Pantoja. Dude's a beast. So I'm picking him. And then in the main event, Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington. I think Colby Covington's going to win by decision. That's what I think is going to happen. I hope I'm wrong. But again, this is the bad guy of the sport. He's cocky, loves Donald Trump. Donald Trump's going to be in the business. Leon Edwards just seems like a nice guy. And I think, here's the thing, I always root for guys that I think would come see a show of mine. And I really think either of these guys would show up at a Gary Owen show. It wouldn't shock me to see Colby Covington, if he ever came to a comedy show, to show up. And Leon Edwards is a brother. So, of course, he'd probably show up. Like I could see Stephen Thompson showing up at one of my shows. I do not see Rakhmonov coming to any one of my shows. I don't see Tony Ferguson coming to a show. I can see Paddy Pimblett popping in. I can see Ian Gary popping in. So, guys that support me, I support you. And Ian Gary's from Ireland. And I don't know if I've ever told this story before, but it's a funny story. It's probably the only Ireland story I got. But I went to Italy a few years ago, and I'm at this beach bar, and I think I have told this story before, but it's still funny, and it's relevant because Ian Gary's from Ireland, and he's fighting on the show. But I'm sitting at this beach bar in Italy, and these guys come up. They go, "Hey, Gary, man, we're from Ireland, man. We're big fans. You never come to Ireland." I go, "Can I sell tickets in Ireland?" They said, "You sell 8." And there was 8 of them. So I got a picture of these 2 dudes, and they said, "You know what's funny? Gary Owen just took a picture with Gary and Owen." And I go, "What?" And the guy on my right's name was Gary, and the guy on my left's name was Owen. And I had them show me their ID, and I was like, no way. Gary Owen got a picture with Gary Owen. I'll post it on my Instagram this week. I ain't doing nothing. So, yeah, that was interesting. So anyways, That was interesting. So those are my picks. We'll see what happens. So Gary, Pimblett, Rachmaninoff, Pantoja, Covington. Those are my picks. And I think Gary's favored, Pimblett's favored, Rachmaninoff's favored, Pantoja's favored, and Kobe's not. So I went with all the favorites on the undercard, and I went with the underdog on the main event. God, it's going to be some good fights, though, because these boys like to fight, bro. They like to throw down. It's going to be so good. I can't wait Saturday night. I was thinking, like, I'm working out again on the regular, right? I go to Orange Theory a lot. I think from my age group, that's good. I used to box a lot, but I think my wrist and then my arm would start hurting. I think I'm getting old, man. It's the worst. I was talking to somebody else. I go, man, your arms ever just sore boxing? They go, dude. I was like, I know. So I had to slow down on the boxing. So I've been going to Orange Theory a lot, which seems good for my age group. But I just want, if you ever see me at an Orange Theory and you're a trainer, please, I know I'm a big dude. Please stop telling me to get bigger weights. I don't want to get bulky because I get bulky quick and I get big quick if I lift heavy weights. But I don't get big like muscular ripped up. It's just mass. I just become this massive neck and shoulders. And I don't want to be that guy. So if you ever see, like I got this one guy, I like to take this morning class where I live now, and he's always on me like, you want to challenge yourself? You want to do more weights? Like, I don't. Like, even today I was doing, they had squats, but they want you to squat with some weight. And I didn't want to use any weight. I just want to use body weight because I know I can go all the way down, get almost like a good stretch and go all the way up. And I take my time with the squats because I'd be seeing some of these people at Orange Theory and they just be trying to get, like, you got to do 10. They're just trying to do 10. I do 10 slow. I go all the way down, all the way up, all the way down, all the way up. And the guy just on me. I'm like, dude, come on now. I don't want to do that. So if you ever see me at Orange Theory, and yeah, I don't want to do heavy weights. I'm doing really light weights, and I'm doing the proper movements, and I'm doing all of it the way you should be doing it. I'm not just rushing through. You ever see people on a plank and their ass is like way up here? Almost looks like a V. I'm like, could somebody help them? That's not doing anything at all. So, yeah. And here's the thing about trainers. I've had quite a few personal trainers in my day. I would never trust a trainer who 90% of his pics and videos is shirts off. I just wouldn't. Every great trainer I've had, they don't have no pics with the shirts off. And they're in good shape. They just don't have one. And I think the trainers that's always got their shirts off, I think they're just thirst trapping, trying to get some puss. Or they could be gay. I don't know. But that's all they're doing. And I wish I'd just say that. But I'm a good trainer, but I'm trying to get some pussy. Also on my Instagram. Just say it. Nobody's going to be mad. But I'll say this. If I was a trainer and I was ripped up, I'd probably have my shirt off. And all my training videos. So I'm saying, I would never hire you, but I get it. So I'm not hating. I get it. I'd have my shirt off too. But just be honest. I would never use it. I just wouldn't. I think it's clear what you're trying to do. I don't think when you got your shirt off constantly, I don't think you're focused on the client. I think you're more worried about yourself and how yourself looks. So that's just my opinion on trainers. Take it how you want it, but let's just be honest. Trainers? I'm not specifically talking to male trainers. Honestly, some of the best trainers I had was female. In my life, Jeanette Jenkins out of L.A. If you don't know Jeanette, I got one out of Dallas I've used. The one in Atlanta I've used. Jaleisha. I've had some good female trainers in my day. Yeah, some bomb ones. But yeah, if you a dude and all your pics got your abs out, sweating, doing exercises, knowing we ain't gonna do. We're not gonna do the pull up where you pull up and then lift yourself up right after it. Nobody's fucking doing that. No client's doing that. You're not. So I know what you're talking about. I know you've seen it, but yeah. So can we slow it down? Trainers with the shirts off, please. But I get it, because if I was ripped up like that, I'd be doing it too. It's funny, like a lot of comedians are starting to work out. I see Tom Segura's lost a lot of weight. He's working out now. Bert Kreischer is working out. Kevin's been working out. Here's the thing about Kevin Hart, though. He still looks the same. Every time I see him, he looks the same. He's always been in decent shape, though. It's not like he got in shape. From the time I met Kev over 23, 4 years ago, he's built exactly the same, which is good. He's maintained his physique all these years, but he ain't no bigger. He ain't no ripper. Ripter, is that a word? And he's no smaller. The kid looks the same. We're almost the same age, but anyways, every time I see him, I'd be like, I don't know what I'm expecting, because for a while there, he was really on this workout kick. He still works out a lot, but he was posting a lot. And then I'd see him, I go, he still looks exactly the same. Every time, like, which is a good thing, because he's always been in good shape. But it's not like I look at him like, dang, Kev just got ripped up all of a sudden. He looks exactly the same. And I'll be like, which is good, he's working out. But it's not like he was ever in bad shape. I remember one time Kev had the nerve to post a picture where he was like eating a piece of pizza or something. He looked a little heavy. And I was looking at the picture like, that was the angle. We can all manipulate a picture and make it look, I can do this and get a double chin. Or I can do this and be real skinny. So we can all manipulate pictures in this business. But I was like, Kev, you were never fat. You were never fat. You never even a little overweight. You've always been in good shape. And you can thank your mom and dad. That's DNA. That's what I wish some of these trainers would say. Stop saying you could do this, you can do this. Be like, look at your mom and look at your dad and try to be in better shape than them. But that's really what you're going with. It's kind of like when I see these Pee Wee football players and stuff, and I've seen it, like the dad will come in and be like, my boy's a running back or something like that, or they'll go out for a basketball team. I'm like, look, man, here's the thing about DNA and genetics. If your mom and dad are short and fat, you're probably going to be short and fat. I mean, you got to work at it if you're not going to be, but let's stop with if you eat right, work out regularly, you can have the body you always wanted. A little bit to it, but DNA's big. Genetics are big. That's why Shaq's got tall kids. So take that how you want it. That's why LeBron's kids are tall. DNA, nothing to mess with. So yeah. And what I've been doing lately, man, I've been on the road so much, bro. So much. So you know what I watch a lot, and I don't know if it's warped. I don't know, but I've been watching a lot of these crime confession videos. Two of my favorites are Explore With Us on YouTube and Red Tree Stories. So, but there's some disturbing ones. Let me make sure I got Explore With Us right. Are they only confession videos? Explore With Us. When a killer vlogs his murders. When evil teens think murder is hilarious. I'm going to get into that in a minute. Yeah, it looks like Explore With Us. Okay, it's dedicated to... Here's what it says. It's dedicated to all things mystery, including unsolved cold cases, true crime, and more. They investigate videos, missing persons, supernatural, everything in between. So I don't like watching the videos where you watch it and they don't find the killer. That I've never liked it on First 48. I don't like watching videos like that. Let me know before I start watching, because I think it's pointless. You just told me there's a killer on the loose, and now I'm worried about something I don't need to be worried about. But Red Tree Stories, man, they're my favorite. But you got to have time, because these interrogations sometimes take over an hour, and then the guy comes in with this creepy voice. He thought he was going home, but he wasn't. Little did he know, they already knew the story. There's one, okay. Watch this one this week if you get a chance. when a narcissist thinks he just got away with murder. So this guy, let me see if they say his name. So this guy, they got him here. They don't say his name. They'll say his name. So this was in Pensacola, Florida. Something about Florida. Charlemagne always says all the crazy people live in Florida. I'm starting to believe him, even though I love the state of Florida. So this guy killed was his wife or fiance? It is 55-year-old Harry Stagger of his girlfriend, Cassandra Robinson. So this guy, he's a little older, had a younger girlfriend. Long story short, he's in the interrogation room. He's talking a mile a minute, kind of blaming her. Doesn't know what happened. He's got his daughter. That's his whole life. Really talking to the detective crazy too. Like, you guys have ruined my life. He had like a coffee bean business or something, trying to open up coffee shops. And the whole time, they've already found his wife's or his girlfriend's body. And they just let him talk. And when I say he talked and rambled and talked and rambled, and the detectives didn't have to say much. And the video is 44 minutes long. For the first 38 minutes, this guy probably talks 32 of it. And you'll see it. He's just, and he's very comfortable, leg crossed, thinks he's got everything handled. And then they just hit him with we know you have a trailer. He had not a trailer, like a trailer hitch. Not like a trailer I grew up in, like a trailer hitch. And he had put his wife's body in like one of them it looks like a garbage can, but it's really like a container. You know, you can seal it. He put her body in there, and this trailer hitch was on this other guy's property. And it had been there for like 2 weeks. And the detectives would have never known because he didn't bring it up, obviously. And if they wouldn't have interviewed the other guy, like it was some business partner or something, like they just went interviewing random people in his life. And this one guy goes, he's got a trailer hitch on my property. And he's like, what? So they go, they find her body in there. And then when they tell him, yeah, do you have they show a picture. Is this yours? Do you have a trailer hitch? You see immediately, oh, fuck. And it's like, all of a sudden he gets quiet. He don't say a word. And then the narrator comes in like, as you can see, he's been very talkative. And they go, this is what the experts say. He's processing what to say next. And the next 6 minutes, everything is a one-word answer. Yep. Yeah, that's mine. Yeah. They said, well, we found her body in it. And he's just quiet. He don't say a word. And I just keep thinking, I'm sure he went in there thinking, okay, he tried to flip it on the detectives like it was their fault. They've ruined his life. They've gone through everything. His only focus is his daughter. I just want to make sure my daughter is everything to me. And, you know, kind of paints pictures of his girlfriend as, you know, not mentally stable. Who knows where she went? And then when they freaking hit him with the trailer hitch, all they did was slide the picture over, and that's when he went, oh shit. And then they showed him a picture of like the garbage can looking things, and I guess there was 2 of them. And he said, do you have these? He goes, yeah, I have 2 of them. But you could just see the wheels were turning in his head like, oh no. And then ended up getting life in prison, as he should. But let me tell you something. That was a crazy case. Watch that one. The one you got to watch, and it's almost 2 hours long, go to YouTube. It's on Explore With Us's page, and it's the title is When Evil Teens Think Murder is Hilarious. So this chick's name was Gail Clevenger. Her son, 15 years old, Gregory Logan Ramos. This happened on November 2nd, 2018. He killed his mom. He calls 911 and says he came home from school and the house is just ransacked. There's stuff everywhere. They got a video of the detective or the police when they showed up, and he looks like a distraught kid. He looks like a 15-year-old, and he's holding his arms like this, and he's just like, I just came home and I don't know where everybody's at. My stepdad and my brother and sister, stepbrother and sister, they're gone. They're in Seattle. I'm home by myself with her, and I don't know, and just like I knew what the outcome was before I watched it, so I knew he was the killer, but he looks so young. I mean, he is young, 15, and the way he's selling this to the police, and then they bring him in, and his story's not really matching up because he left school early, and they called him in like a bunch of lies. Like he was in school all day, then they found out he wasn't, and then you gotta see it. It's so disturbing. But here's the worst part. He calls two of his friends, and they pick him up from school. So he kills his mom the night before. In the middle of the night, he strangles her, and then he takes her body, gets in the minivan, and he's only 15, so I was a little shocked that he could drive. He drives her behind a church, and there's a fire pit behind the church, and he digs a hole and puts his mom in there. This is his biological mother. Puts his mom in there, covers the hole up, and then comes up with this whole story of, went to school, my buddies picked me up, I don't know what happened. So what ended up happening was, choked his mom, his buddies came to get him, they go to school the next day after he had dug a hole, did all this stuff the night before, put his mom in it, came back to the house. His buddies pick him up in the morning to go to school, and he tells them I killed my mom last night. And they don't believe him. And then he goes to school for half the day. Then him and his buddies, they come back to his house after school, trash the house to make it look like a robbery, to the point where he had his one buddy kick in the door, like somebody broke in the house. And he gave them a laptop, a crossbow. He gave him items that he said was stolen from the house. Like, you see anything missing? He goes, well, the TV's missing. Crossbow's missing. Stuff like that. Well, he gave it to these buddies. So when the cops interview the buddies, the story really begins to unravel very quick. So the way this 15-year-old kid is talking to the detectives in the interrogation room, it blows your mind. Like, he talks to them like he's telling them what to do. And everything's so matter of fact. He's like, yeah, you know what it's like. And, and it's just, when you see a psycho, it's crazy how they can just compartmentalize things. And they do everything. They break down his body language. They break down how he's sitting. But here's the disturbing part. When his story finally falls apart and he realizes, oh, shit, I'm caught, he goes, all right, screw it. Yeah, I killed her. I choked her. I was like, what? But it's immediate. He went from, I don't know what happened. And then when they start confronting him with, this was a lie. You did leave school early. Your teacher told us you weren't in his class. It's that your story doesn't make sense here. We've already talked to the other two guys you said you were with that day. He had like a scratch on his face, clearly from his mom when he was choking her, probably reaching up. And he was like, he got in a fight with some kid named Joel after school, doesn't know his last name. He goes, nobody saw but my buddy. He goes, and then he was like, where's Joe? He goes, I don't know. He goes, I saw him, and, we got in a fight, and like what he was saying. And then afterwards we hugged it out, and he saw where I was coming from. And I was going, what? Even that story made no sense. Nobody gets in a fight after school and then hugs it out afterwards immediately. And then when he realized the story's falling apart, when I tell you, man, He flipped that switch so fast. All right, screw it. Yeah, I killed her, man. I choked her. And for the next 20 minutes, he walks them through how he killed his mom. And it's disturbing that he killed his mom, and it's just as disturbing the way he's describing it. He was just like, yo, you know how heavy a dead body is? I didn't think it was going to be that heavy. He goes, I put her in the wheelbarrow. That was a pain in the ass, man. And then when I wheeled her behind the church to dig the hole, he goes, I tried to put her in feet first. That wasn't going to work. He goes, so I had to put her in head first and bend her legs up and cover it up. That took forever. I wasn't expecting that to take that long. I was just like, and he was asking him like, dude, you ever have something heavy in a wheelbarrow? It's not that. It's really hard to control it. And then it was almost like it was so weird the way he was describing it like, I don't know. He was just taking out some wood or the trash. And the fact that it was his fucking mom. And then they interviewed the other two boys, right? And the other two boys, they said, we didn't know if we believed them or not or anything else. They don't grasp the magnitude of what's happening. So the other two boys was like, now keep in mind, they never saw his mom. They weren't there when he killed her. They didn't help her bury him, but they did help stage the crime scene. They kicked in the door. They took some of his items, and they were just like, at the end, the other two boys, they're in the back of the cop car not realizing they're being taped. They start like talking like, man, my dad's going to be pissed. And he goes, I was supposed to graduate. I don't know if you think school suspend me? And then they start singing like songs. They start singing like a Blink 182 song in the back or some shit. And I was just like, they have no idea. And then the other guy, the killer, Gregory, he doesn't really comprehend what's going on either. Like they really thought they were going to go home. Well, and the other two boys just basically got probation. And then he got, let's see what Gregory Ramos got. So one kid was given bond at $200,000, meaning he essentially no way for him to post his bail. One kid's name was Dylan. He got 828 days in jail, 10 years probation. What did the other guy get? Now these are just the accessories. This isn't the real. Let me get what Greg got, the killer. So there's a kid named Dylan and a kid named Brian. So Dylan got 182 days in jail. He ended up spending 100 days in jail, and he got 10 years probation. And they have they've checked out as far as like comprehending. Like you realize you just helped this guy that killed his mom, right? They're worried about normal teenage stuff. So let me see. He got that. And Dylan. Okay, so. Hold on. So Dylan, his family posted a $100,000 bond. Court date. What did he end up getting? He ended up. What did he get? He got 14 years probation. 364 days in jail he spent. And 14 years probation. Now Gregory Ramos, the sheriff said he's one of the top 3 sociopaths that I've ever come in contact with. I really want you guys to watch this. It's unbelievable the way he describes how he kills. He got 45 years in prison, 15 years old. And here's the thing. He better not get out. He's going to do it again. I don't know, 15, so he's 60, probably eligible for parole after, 25, 30? So he could be like 45, 50 years old technically and get out. He's going to do it again if he gets out. They better never let him out. I'm like, the way he described that, it was scary. Consider that's his freaking mom. The one person that's probably would have his back and take care of him his whole life. He just choked her. And the way he did it, he came in the middle of the night. It was like she was asleep and he walked in her room and just started choking her. I mean, he planned it. Oh, it was so disturbing. It reminds me, not reminds me, but it's. I was talking to somebody. It's like, it was crazy. So like, there's like psychopaths just walking amongst us, and we have no idea. Like every day we're at a mall or at an airport. You don't know. You don't know. They always say like, you never know people are going to be nice to everybody because you don't know what somebody's going through. I'd be thinking, yeah. And there's also psychos out there that are just walking amongst us. I mean, this kid, if you saw him, you would never think he's a cold-blooded psychopath. I'm glad they caught him early. Sucks about his mom, but I'm glad this was a Ted Bundy in waiting, a Jeffrey Dahmer. Guaranteed. That's the thing. We can psychoanalyze everything. There's just crazy people, and you can't control crazy. That's what we don't ever talk about. There's just crazy motherfuckers out there. And I don't know. I was thinking like in my life, what's some of the craziest things that I've been around or seen as far as crimes committed? Now, this wasn't a crime, but when I lived in the trailer park growing up, the guy that lived in like the trailer right across the street and like one or two trailers down, he tried to commit suicide, and he put the gun underneath his chin, and the fucker missed. He went like, boom, and when it went off, the bullet went like this. It went like up through his chin, through his mouth, and out his cheek. So I just remember the ambulance coming. It was like middle of the night one night. We saw these ambulances, and then in the trailer park, word gets around so fast. And all of a sudden, I was like, what happened? They were like, Bobby tried to commit suicide, and he missed. I go, oh, my God. It's like, I hate to say it, that's like a double loser. Like, how you missed? You're right here. The gun's right here, bro. You just hold it and pull it. Somehow it went this way on the recoil, or he jerked it. You know what it was? He was anticipating the recoil. So he probably pressed it and went like this. But, man, can you imagine you just want to die, and then you're, like, laying there and blood's coming out, and you're kind of in and out of it, and then the ambulance comes, you're like, oh, fuck. How do you explain that? I mean, your wife's probably leaving you at that point. Like, did you kill yourself? I just never forget it. And then we'd see him. We'd see him around the trailer park. He had a scar right here, but nothing like, it wasn't like he looked like they took out part of his jaw or skull was missing. Nah. He always had a beard, but who knows what was under the beard. But I was just like, no way. The guy tried to commit suicide and missed. I've never heard anything like it. That was crazy. So, anyways, again, I'm off this weekend. I will be, let me always open and close up my schedule because I can't stand when people not can't stand it, but when people be like, man, when you coming here? And I was like, I was just there. Somebody said that about Columbus, Ohio. He's like, when you going to come to Columbus? I was like, I was just there last month. Oh, I didn't know. They'll say things like, you never come here. I'm like, I was just there. So, yeah, December 21st to the 23rd, Denver, Colorado. December 29th, San Antonio at the Tobin Center. December 30th to 31st, Dallas at the Texas Trust Theater. And January 5th through the 7th, Ontario, California at the Improv. January 13th, Jacksonville, Florida, Moran Theater. 14th, Fort Lauderdale at the Hard Rock, Florida. January 18th to the 21st, Cincinnati, Ohio, baby. Coming home. Bingled out. Here's the thing. I'm in Jacksonville January 13th, Fort Lauderdale January 14th. If the Bengals somehow get in the playoffs, because they're not going to win the division at this point, Baltimore is going to win the division. But if they get in, chances are they'll be a 6-7 seed, which means they're probably going to be playing Jacksonville or Miami in the first round. In Jacksonville or in Miami. Oh, and I might be there. Oh, that'd be amazing. That would be freaking amazing. If they could play the Dolphins first round of playoffs on the Sunday game, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Oh, a man can dream. You know what I mean? And then January 26th to the 28th, I'm in Irvine, California at the Improv. We'll end it there in January. So, all right, y'all. Again, explore with us and watch Red Tree Stories on YouTube. If you got an hour and a half, you're in the car, You don't even really have to watch. You can listen to it. It's crazy. All right, y'all. This is Gary Owen with the Get Some Podcast.